Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast here at MODEX 2022. We are in the booth with some MHI Innovation Award finalists, actually. We have some royalty here, something like that, right? Been on the podcast before. We have Ryan Clifford and Ryan Chesterfield from Phantom Auto here to talk to us about Phantom Auto and hear a little bit about how the reception has been here at MODEX to Phantom Auto's offering, which is something that's pretty fairly new to the market, and I think maybe potentially, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but potentially the first time we've seen something like this at a show like this. So it's a pretty cool thing. So welcome to the booth, guys. How are you?
Thanks, Kevin. Good to be here. Good to be here face to face.
Yes, yeah. I know we recently talked virtually, so we finally get to connect in person. How about you, Ryan? The other Ryan, how you doing?
Day 3, the knees are finally warmed up. Got the elevator speech chiseled, and the customers seem to be responding well. So
okay, good. So tell us a little bit about Phantom Auto for those maybe who are not familiar, didn't hear the previous podcast. Give us a little brief overview.
Yes, so we do remote operation and material handling equipment.
Right.
So, if you look around this building, that most of the innovative products here are trying to find a way to reduce the dependency on people, right?
Yep.
Because people are in short supply. This is the big industry challenge. So how can we find technologies where you don't need as many people as you used to need?
Yeah.
And our approach is a little bit different.
Okay.
So the way we look at it is there actually are people available. They're just not available within a 30-mile radius of your distribution center in Southern California or Nashville or Atlanta or Dallas.
Yeah.
So what we do is we do remote operations where you can spin up a site, we call them digital drivers, in places where those people are available, and then deploy them where you need them. So perhaps, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Nevada, West Virginia. These are places where the labor participation rate is well below the national average.
Okay.
And we feel like that's a good opportunity to get good quality jobs in markets where those jobs are available.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a great thing because, you guys are certainly addressing something that I'm hearing over and over here at the show is the labor shortage and, being able to tackle that and how do we do that as an industry. And obviously, as you guys are tapping into these kind of underutilized markets in a sense, you're certainly giving an advantage to some companies who decide to go with your platform and able to tap into those remote workers. And, it's something that, I think if we think about, a few years ago, we think about someone who's working in a warehouse being a remote worker. How do you do that? You don't have the inventory and boxes at your house, right? So how can we make that possible? And you guys have come up with a way to do that, which is pretty incredible. And rightfully so. You've earned a nomination for the MHI finalist, right, as Innovation Award. So talk to us a little bit about that, and how does that feel, and what was the process to kind of get there?
I mean, I think it comes back to what we were saying here. So the product category, or the Innovation Award category that we're in, is the best new product.
Right.
And not to knock any of the other nominees, but I think the feedback that we're getting from people here at the show has been, what you're doing is different, right? Like this is actually a new category potentially, versus some of the many of the technologies here, just like we said, that are looking to reduce headcount. And so I think that my hope is that means that we actually are innovative and trying to do something entirely different.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Truly, I think that separates us from the rest. I think you said it well, that everybody here is looking for a way to reduce their dependency on the labor. And I think that's one of the first things that prospects will point out is, well, I'm not really seeing a productivity gain. Quickly have to say that this is not a productivity gain play. This is a access to the productivity play. Right now, these jobs are empty. These trucks are sitting for 2-3 shifts. There's just not people to be there. So the
productivity zero, basically.
And people are seeing that as the difference. Like, this is something that's empowering people versus sort of automation, sort of the appearance that it goes the other way. It's really a tool. I think that's what separates us from the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it truly is, innovative, like I just said before. It's it's pretty remarkable, the technology. You're able to do this type of thing remotely, and I know we talked about previously on the show about the reaction time being such an important thing, and the way that you guys have been able to figure that out and do this in a safe way too. I think is pretty remarkable. So I know how I feel about it. I think it's amazing technology and stuff, but I'm curious to hear what is the reception been here at MODEX as attendees are learning about you guys and coming by the booth, and what kind of things are they saying? What kind of questions are they asking?
I'll say that the reception has been overwhelmingly positive, which is great.
Yeah.
Questions that we get are, like you said, you touched on it, safety.
Right.
How there's still an unmanned vehicle, even though there's a remote operator there, how are you managing this to be sure that it's as safe as it needs to be?
Right.
And what we've done is we've effectively equipped it with the same kind of sensor system that you would put on an autonomous vehicle.
Okay.
Only because there's a human there, they have the ability, I'm going to say override, that's the wrong term, but where they can use human judgment to make the safety system accommodate the workflow that they're trying to accomplish. So, for example, for an AMR to drive into a trailer is very challenging because they have a safety field that's too wide.
Okay.
And for us, what we can do is we can derate the vehicle so the operator can put it into trailer mode.
Yeah.
It slows the vehicle down, but it narrows the safety field so they're still able to accomplish that workflow that you need them to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then we on the back end are able to account for any kind of a safety risk there.
Gotcha.
So that's one thing that we've gotten a lot of feedback on is, hey, you have to assure us that this is a safe solution.
Yeah.
The other thing has been working with labor unions. So they're like, we love this idea, but if we start outsourcing our labor unions are going to freak out.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've actually had a really positive reception from labor unions.
Interesting.
And it's been because you can partner with your labor union to create digital drivers that are a part of the union workforce, and you're upskilling them and future-proofing those jobs, as opposed to, like we talked about, where the majority of the people in here are trying to eliminate those jobs.
Yeah. It's an interesting point about the union, actually. I didn't even think about that, and I guess in a sense it's something positive maybe for the union because you're giving that person maybe a more comfortable environment to work in. The union's always negotiating for more benefits, right, and all those types of things. So this is a very interesting point. It's an interesting question someone raised there. So what has been maybe some of the most challenging or eye-opening questions or things that people have brought to the booth?
Well, I'm going to tee up Ryan Chesterfield here. I think one thing is where are you, Phantom Auto, on our automation journey?
Right.
We appreciate what you're doing, but are there ways that we can further optimize this operator by layering in bits of automation? And that's actually a pet project that Ryan Chesterfield, he's really close to, so I'll let you kind of speak more to that.
Yeah, excuse me. And I'll kind of start with one thing that I'm hearing a bunch from a couple different prospects here is they're asking, they see this and they see that they're hiring, they say we're hiring folks from 7-Eleven and McDonald's,
right.
And these people already have a tough time adapting to my warehouse environment. How the heck are they going to do this if they're remote?
Yeah.
It seems. And then we start talking about the safety system. We start talking about augmented reality and bringing more information to that operator and discuss that most people entering the workforce, in their early 20s, are going to be more familiar with a web browser, a computer, a video game screen than they would be with a forklift. And I see that idea really bring them around when they talk about bringing people in that aren't forklift people,
right,
and putting them on a machine like this that has sort of preconditions where I don't want to say you can't mess up, but it's there to guide the operator, and I think that's also what's making us different. And then as far as the path to automation, this vehicle is already armed with all the sensors, hardware,
right,
a good chunk of the software we need to control the motion. It's a short step to write some software to make the vehicle go in a straight line and turn left and drop off. So certainly we see that is a huge value add. I do truly believe that the sort of the crawl, walk, run approach we talk about with the customers, being able to do some of the difficult things, being able to support this solution remotely will be the first step, and then it'll be an easy step to press a button and have it go across the warehouse and drop it off.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. And yeah, I think it is it's an interesting point there about, because we're getting creative in the sense where we're trying to, pull labor from everywhere. And like you said, we're pulling somebody out of 7-Eleven or, McDonald's or something, and they've never worked in a warehouse and not familiar. And then you're going to throw them on a forklift that they're not even technically on, is a little questionable, right? So, but the fact I think that you guys are thinking through that and thinking about how do you ensure that someone can easily come into that role. You're not only tapping into unused like forklift operator labor in different parts of the country, but you're also tapping into just unused labor in general. And you're able to give them better skills, as you mentioned earlier, upskilling them and giving them a different type of path in their career. So you're kind of improving their lives as well. And I think the idea and the concept and obviously the execution that you guys are now doing is great, and I think it's very innovative and rightfully so. It's nominated, and what else do you think is coming in the future for Phantom Auto? I mean, you guys are kind of from what I would say, you guys are like just getting started, just getting out there, right? So what are some of the future things that people can expect from Phantom Auto?
First and foremost right now is adding more vehicle types.
Right.
So right now we're on a 8,000 pound center rider electric pallet jack type of vehicle.
Okay.
And then we're coming out just as we speak with a stand-up counterbalance.
All right.
The next one will be a sit-down counterbalance, and then shortly after that will be the sit-down counterbalance with attachments, so clamps most notably.
Ooh, okay.
And then reach trucks. But we're trying to layer in more and more vehicle types so we can address more workflows. Another top priority is adding more OEM partners, so we can meet customers where they are. So like right now, our customers that are deploying are very much behind our value proposition of this remote operation like we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so they're willing to work with us even if we're not using their current OEM or even their current vehicle type,
right,
because they want to start to validate and test this functionality out and start to build it culturally into the fabric of their business.
Yeah.
But more and more, we want our customers to be able to order their vehicles through the same channels that they currently do and just spec them to be Phantom ready.
Right.
And it arrives and it has all the Phantom equipment on it, and they didn't do anything differently than they currently do. As it is today, vehicles are coming through Phantom, and we're doing the upfitting and the QA and everything, and then sending them out to customers, which is great for now. But as we start to scale the business, that'll get harder and harder.
Yeah, very interesting, and obviously a lot of potential partners here, I guess, at MODEX. So are you seeing any of those conversations going on, or you can't really say?
It's like we're getting sold to as much as we're selling sometimes.
Very good.
Kinds of people interested in, we've got private LTE providers that they need a toy to go. They need basically a use case for these networks, and so we're seeing all kinds of people see opportunity, with us and come to us and see how they can work together, which is exciting. Something I haven't experienced before.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in. I'm sure being pulled in both directions, right? It's very good. So very interesting stuff from you guys, Ryan and Ryan at Phantom Auto, and I want to wish you luck on the award, and I think it's deserved. Even like we were talking about, just getting to the finalist nomination as well is certainly a huge achievement, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully we can make the announcement here on the podcast as well that you have won. So if people want to find out more information about Phantom Auto, how can they do that?
Come to phantomauto.com. We've actually just recently revamped our website, and there's plenty of good information. Previously we'd worked across a lot of different verticals, like starting in the autonomous on-highway vehicles, and then delivery robots, and we're continuing to pursue some of those things, but really we're primarily focused on this space here, in distribution, manufacturing, logistics, and now the website speaks a lot more to that customer group. So that's probably the best way to reach us.
Okay.
And otherwise, LinkedIn. I love, talking with customers on LinkedIn. So by all means, I think I'm trying to remember my username, but if you search for Ryan Clifford and Phantom, it's gonna rise to the top of the search for sure.
All right, great, and we'll post all that stuff on thenewwarehouse.com as well, so people can easily find it. And we'll put Ryan Chesterfield's LinkedIn on there too. He didn't get a chance to plug it, but we'll put it for him. No worries. So guys, good luck today. I know you're heading over in a little bit to find out the results, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Appreciate it.